The Learning Journey is pleased to present Did You Know in association with Turn It Up Tuesday, hosted by Rassaudio. This week, the Did You Know topic will focus on the Zong Massacre. The Zong Massacre has connections to Africa, England, and the Caribbean. Let me say that the transatlantic slave trade is widely recognized as one of the harshest and most inhumane aspects of human history. This period of enslavement of millions of Africans saw their transportation across the Caribbean to work as slaves in the Americas and the Caribbean. People are aware of the atrocities experienced by those who were on board these ships. And let me say, the Zong Massacre gives you a highlight into what took place on these ships. The Zong was a British ship that set sail from Africa in 1781, carrying no less than 400 enslaved Africans on board. According to various sources, the number exceeded the capacity of the ship. The moment the ship set sail, it seems as if it was destined for disaster. First, according to one source, the vessel had an inexperienced captain who had been a surgeon. This captain had never led a voyage or commanded a vessel before. Another major issue was that the crew was problematic and were consistently quarreling with each other. It was also revealed that members of the crew discovered that water barrels were leaking. The situation was worsened when it was revealed that there was a navigation error which had placed them off course from their destination to Jamaica by a far way. This was indeed a predicament for those on the vessel, and according to the crew, they feared insurrection and took actions to reduce the number of slaves on board. According to one source, the crew decided to throw the Africans overboard. The crew murdered the enslaved Africans in 3 batches to preserve water for themselves. According to one source, 54 Africans were killed on November the 29th. 42 were killed in December. And although the rain fell and decreased the urgency of water in early December, another 26 were murdered. Reports suggest that 10 slaves threw themselves overboard, committing suicide. When the massacre had stopped, only 208 slaves survived out of the 400 who had started the trip. However, soon after, the owners of the ship engaged in a court battle to get compensated from their insurers for the slaves the crew members had murdered. After the 130 enslaved Africans were murdered, the owners of the ship renamed the ship the Richard and decided to claim for the slaves the crew had murdered. According to one source, the owners were claiming £30 for each slave. Yes, slave owners insured slaves to ensure they would recoup their investments in the event of any disaster. The insurer was reluctant to pay insurance and the court battle ensued. According to one source, the presiding judge told the jury that they should respond to whether mass murder of slaves had taken place based on necessity. And this would have been the same as horses that were thrown overboard. Back then, horses were at times thrown overboard to reduce the weight of the ship or to conserve water. The defense for the ship owners claimed that there would have been an insurrection if the numbers of Africans on the Zong was not reduced. However, one lawyer argued that acting on the assumption of a future event that did not happen was unjust. According to one source, there were 3 options that could have been taken to avoid the mass killing of the African people. Option 1 would have been to shut the Africans in the ship and allow them to take their chances for survival. However, this option would limit insurance coverage. Option 2 would be to throw the amount of slaves that was just necessary at that time. It should be noted that after the 130 plus slaves were thrown overboard, another 36 died on board, and these slaves had to be thrown overboard too. The third option was, rather than taking proactive action, the captain could have decided to allow the water to diminish with the hope of rain coming. Regardless of the argument put forward why this money should not be paid, eventually the slave owners were compensated. They were paid. While the Zong Massacre remains a well-documented account, it should be noted that the practice was not isolated. The reality is that the transatlantic slave trade was filled with murder, rape, mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse by the white enslavers. Until next week, over to you, Rossi.